Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is DeCaris Kelly, and this is Living by Faith, one day at a time. So, I'm here to tell you about my faith walk, my faith journey. It has been a bit of a challenge, but it all worked out for my good. So, a little bit of a brief story in the beginning. I was in a 5-year relationship, and it was not a great relationship. It had its pros and its cons, but more cons than pros. So while being in that relationship, it ended up leading me to really submit and to find out who God was for myself. I had no other choice. I was going through a lot in the relationship, and I needed help, and I couldn't go to family and friends because no one would understand, and if they did understand, they wouldn't be able to give me the support that I needed. Okay, so it went back. When I actually started submitting, or when I did submit, God began to speak to me. And the person that I was with, I thought that he was going to be my husband. There was no doubt about it. Like, we had a child. He took care of my other children. So I just knew that that's what it was going to be. Even though there were more cons than pros, I overlooked it. Okay, so God started speaking to me, and he told me basically, this is not the relationship. This is not what I called you to be in. This is not the person I called you to be with. So in that process, I basically kind of like had a meltdown. I didn't know what to do, and I was wondering, am I really hearing from God? Like, I need to figure this out. I need to go on a fast. So I went on a 7-day fast, literally 7 days, with doing nothing but reading the Bible, seeking God, praying, asking him to speak to me. I was not even in the same household as my then relationship ex. I had a she shed, and it was located outside of the house, and I would go and I would sleep in my she shed. I would not talk to him. I would be out there the whole day because I needed to hear from God. So while I was in that process, my fast had ended, and I literally woke up one morning, and I went to get ready for the day. I went to go take a shower, and as I'm in the shower, I hear the Holy Spirit, and he speaks so clear to me, and he says, move. And I'm like, what? Like, after my fast is over, I hear move. So I'm like, okay. And I said, well, I'm obedient to the word. I'm ready, full-fledged. So I'm like, Lord, if you're talking to me and you want me to move, when do you want me to move? And he came back to me and he replied, move now. So that became the first part of my journey. I literally packed up me and my children's clothes, nothing else. I had $100 to my name. I didn't have any extra income. I didn't have the knowledge of where I would go, like who I would move in with, because I couldn't go back home. My grandmother raised me, but the house was full, so there was no room for me. And mind you, I have 4 children, and in that process, I didn't want my children to know what was going on. So I asked God, and I prayed, and I asked him to shield their eyes so that they wouldn't know what was going on. And he actually did that. I told my children that we were going on a vacation. A vacation that would last 2 weeks. Now, 2 weeks was the number or the time frame that my mind just came out with. To this day, I mean, it was God. It had to be God, because there's no other way. I literally said, we'll be on vacation for 2 weeks. So I packed up their stuff, and we got in my truck at the time, and we left. We moved. There was no second guessing. There was no turning around. There was no, oh, maybe I didn't hear correct. No, we moved. So as we're going, we're just driving, and I'm asking the Holy Spirit, and I'm asking God, to lead me, to show me where I need to be, because at this point I don't know. Well, I end up going to another city from my hometown, and so while I'm going to this city, I also have 2 dogs. I forgot to mention those. I have 2 little Yorkies. So I had no idea where we would go, because even if I was to go to the shelter, nobody takes dogs. You're not allowed to bring pets, or unless they're service animals, which mine are not. So that was a problem. Well, it goes fast forward. I literally get on the phone, and I'm talking to my aunt, and I'm telling her, and I'm like, hey, so this happened. I need to move. I didn't go into great details with her, but I did tell her, I said, God is telling me to move, but I have my dogs. So should I sell them? Should I leave them? I don't know what to do with my dogs. And she said, if God is telling you to move, then he will make a way for you and your dogs. So I said, huh? She said, where God guides, he provides. So I took that in, and I said, okay. So as we get to the next city, I do find a hotel, and it wasn't bad, and there was nothing wrong with it. But they did accept pets, and that was a good thing. So I literally ended up staying there. We stayed there a day. No, actually we stayed there 2 days at this particular hotel, and it was just a lot going on. People were going back and forth. It was cops coming. I didn't know what was going on. So it was like, yeah, this is not the area that we need to be in. Even though the hotel itself wasn't bad, it was just the area. So I said, okay, we need to go. So we ended up leaving or whatever, but at this time I'm not working. I don't have a job. I don't have any extra income coming in. So I'm literally taking the little bit of money that I have to find rooms. So I found another hotel, and this hotel was a good hotel. It had a kitchen, everything. It was fine. My children were there. They really thought that we were on vacation. We would go out. I would take them to the park. We would go for walks on the trails. Every day we were doing something different. So it kept them busy, and it also kept, my mind together, because I didn't want to panic, because I didn't know what was going to happen for the next day and so forth. So as I'm going along, I'm just reading the Bible. I'm studying, basically. I'm literally praying, crying my eyes out for some certain days, because I needed to be in control. And God was trying to break me of that. And he wanted me to be closer to him. But at this time, I didn't know that. So he was really testing my faith all the way. So I'm just like, Lord, I don't have any money. I don't have anywhere to go. And I said, you told me that you're my provider. You will provide for me. So I need to know where I'm going. I need to know. And I just kept saying, I need to know. I need to know. Give me something. So one day, one of my clients, I'm a nail tech, and one of my clients had called me, and she's like, hey, I want to get my nails done or whatever, and are you available? And I hadn't told anybody my actual business. I had not let anybody know what was going on. So I confided in her. I broke down and I let her know everything that was going on. I let her know I didn't have a job. I let her know I didn't have a place. I let her know that I didn't even have any money. So while this is going on, she's on the phone and she's like, that's it? That's what's wrong? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, yes, that's it, but that's a big thing. And she's like, okay, you know, I'll call you back. So she goes about her way. I go about mine, you know. And I'm just still praying to God and like, hey, you know, but at this point now, I'm just praying for somewhere to live. I'm praying for a job. I'm praying for something to come in to make some money. Oh, I even end up going to an interview. I had applied for jobs and I went to this interview, and while he shut it down. Basically, the interview went well. Everything went fine. The drug testing, everything was perfect. But I did not hear anything back from them. It was a complete shutdown. So I said, okay, you know, I'm still waiting, you know, and he's still testing my faith, and I'm still reading and going about my way. So then finally I get a phone call, and it's my client. And she calls me and she's like, hey, you know, I got a house for you. My dad knows this guy, and this guy owes my dad a favor. And I'm looking like, what? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, but I don't have any money. I can't put nothing down. I don't know what I'm going to do about the money, and I don't work. I don't have a job. And she's like, oh, no, don't worry about that. He has a business, too. You can just move in, and you can do your nails from the business. And he's not charging you anything until, you know, you get on your feet. And I'm like, so the house, I can move in. So, sorry.